Hello, good evening, Facebook. How are you all doing? Okay, so immigration update. We are going to discuss about questions that I've been receiving from some of you, which I haven't replied yet. We're going to talk about the extension, COVID-19 extension. We're going to talk about the new case, new case law that has arrived. Well, that has arrived, not arrived, but a new case law that's been out that will help people who are on limited leave to remain and who are finding themselves destitute, and whether or not they can get to the Home Office to lift the restriction for no recourse to public funds. So if you are let's say you are on a leave to remain because you have a British child and you find yourself unable to afford the Home Office fees, then you might be able to, and I said may, because it depends on the circumstances, but there is definitely a court case that that allows people to claim benefits. Okay. So we're going to be discussing about that. Hi Joy, how are you? Hope you're okay. All right, so let me just get to my phone and I'm going to just go through the questions I've received. But I don't know whether I hope my internet is okay and you can all hear me. But anyway, let me just continue. So I have one question here that I received, and this person wanted to come to the UK and didn't know whether to apply for a family permit, which is an EU family permit, or to apply for a standard visitor visa. She said her sponsor is not British citizen, but an EU citizen. So, okay. The answer to that is she needs to apply for standard visitor visa if her sponsor is not married to her. So if she is not married or she is not in a long-term relationship with this EA national, then she can't come to the UK using the family permit route, but she needs to apply for the standard visitor visa. Right. So second question. Okay, so someone asked me, because he came to the UK on a multiple visit visa, multiple entry visit visa, and he was able to get that visa because his aunt in the UK is elderly, and I think she's suffering from either dementia or Alzheimer's, but quite elderly and ill. So he was able to get the visa to come to the UK on that basis because his aunt does not have any relative in the UK. And so he's asking whether or not he can apply for, he can extend his visa and apply to remain in the UK on the basis that he's going to be looking after his aunt. Okay. And I think I actually get a lot of questions like this. In fact, we applied for one client in the past where she came on a tourist visa, and we applied on the basis that her mom was really ill, and she also got her visit visa on the basis that she would be visiting her mom and meeting her before in the worst case scenario she would pass away. So the Home Office was very compassionate and granted her visa to come to the UK. When we applied, so this is a relationship between a mother and a daughter. When we applied, we got refused, even though we had a lot of evidence to say that, her role in looking after her mom was, beneficial. But the Home Office did not accept our argument. So for this client who was asking about whether or not whether or not he can apply to extend to remain in the UK, really depends on the evidence that he will be providing. So, for instance, if he has enough proof that there really isn't any other relative in the UK, the medical history of the aunt and any other supporting documents he can provide, then they may consider it. But there is absolutely no guarantee that they would say yes to it because of his visa type. So his visa type is a visitor's visa, and then changing it to sort of like leave to remain on cap, leave to remain other routes. So asking the Home Office to exercise their discretion for him to remain is quite difficult. These kind of cases. All right, so okay, let me get another question. Okay, so I received a really good question the other few days ago, and it's to do with the fee waiver application. So as you know, that if you can't afford to pay for your Home Office fees and the immigration health surcharge, you can apply for a fee waiver. So meaning you're going to complete this application and say to the Home Office that you can't afford to pay for the Home Office fees and the immigration health surcharge, which is quite expensive at the moment, $1,000 for 2.5 years visa, and it will increase in October to 1,600 something. So she was asking, at what point should I apply for the fee waiver? And that's a really good question. Now, when you apply for your immigration application, there are two separate applications. So if you can't afford, you have to think really well ahead of time to submit your application, because you can't let your visa run out and not apply for your visa. And when you apply for your visa, at that stage, it's not going to be submitted if you don't have either the fee waiver sort of code, I don't know, a code, or I don't know what they do with how you would do it. No, actually, when you submit your application, there's a question at the beginning: did you apply for fee waiver? And then if you click it, yes, I think it gets connected to your application. If it's been approved, then it will proceed at the end, and you won't have to pay any fee. So you'll probably calculate 0 at the end. But if you wait to the last minute, hi Sharon, if you wait till the last minute, let's say a month before your visa expires, then it means that when they haven't decided your visa fee waiver application, that means when you submit your main application, you would have to pay for the fees. And then it's very difficult to get the refund from the Home Office. Okay, once you've paid the fees, they just want to, hold on to it. They're not going to say, oh, here's the refund. It's very, very rare. Actually, I haven't done it. I haven't done it to any of my clients. In the past, it was easy because you complete a paper application form for your main application and also for your fee waiver application, and you submit it at the same time. But now, because it's online, you can't submit your main application without paying the fee. So you have to pay that first. In fact, there was one client who, it was too late for her to submit her fee waiver. It was, I think she applied, a month, I'm not sure, a month, but really, really late. But then her visa runs out. So she had to make that application, even though she did not receive the fee waiver decision. So I think if you think that you're not going to afford, you won't be able to afford to pay for the fees, then apply, I would think, I don't know, 2 to 3 months before before your visa expires. Okay, so that gives you time to that gives you time to receive the decision. Okay, I don't know whether it would be too early, but I would still submit that application anyway. So submit the fee waiver application, and then wait for it for another 2 to 3 months. Once you receive it, then you submit your main application. Okay, so that's the hi Ricky, hi Lori. Okay, so I would say 2 to 3 months, submit your application for fee exemption, and then but make sure you don't wait to the last minute, and then submit your main application for your visa before it expires. All right. Okay, I'm just looking at the. Okay, so the other question I have is to do with coronavirus. Okay, coronavirus. If you have a visa expiring between January this year and before they changed it, 31st of May, then you were supposed to submit an online application for extension, and that would automatically, the Home Office would automatically get your details, and then, you know, on your record will automatically extend your visa to 31st of May. But a few days ago, can't remember when, but recently they've announced that they're extending it to 31st of July. So if you've already done it, you don't have to do anything because it will automatically extend it. But if you have not done your, oh, wait. No, cancel. Sorry. If you have not done and notified the Home Office that you want your temporary visa to be extended to 31st of July, then, you know, you need to submit the form. You should know it's COVID-19. If you Google COVID-19 immigration, it will take you up to the page, and it will tell you what to do. And there's an online form that you need to complete, and then that will get submitted to the Home Office, and it will automatically, you will receive an email, I think, and their records you would put on your records that, you know, your visa, temporary visa, is extended. But if you want to apply for longer visa, you want to remain in the UK, I don't know, if you want to switch to another category, like for example, a family visa or work visa, then, and you have a sponsor, then you might be able to do that. But you have to submit a proper application and pay the fees, Home Office fees, immigration health surcharge. So, but if you just want to, extend it because you can't go home, or if you go home, then you'll be quarantined, you know, it's difficult, then notify the Home Office and you will get automatically extended to the 31st of July, and it won't affect your immigration records in the future if you have to apply. Okay, so you're not overstaying because of the pandemic, I think. I'm saying I think because it's just a policy. The Home Office is just a policy that they've actually, you know, they've just updated their information on their website. It's not actually a rule. It's not actually a law. So if they have to, if you're let's say applying, let's say in 2 years' time, applying for, you know, a visa to come to the UK, and it says, have you overstayed in the UK? And you said, yeah, I've overstayed because my visa said, you know, let's say, I don't know, expiring on the 15th of May, but you stayed until the 31st of July because you can't go home, right? So technically the Home Office can turn around and say, oh, well, you know, you've overstayed. And then you would have to appeal against it, and hopefully the judge would, you know, as judges do, they're independent, so they can say, well, you know, during this time, that was when, you know, coronavirus happened and everyone was stuck wherever they were. So yeah, it shouldn't affect. Okay, the last thing I wanted to update you on is this case law. There is a law. It says for those who have visas that says no recourse to public funds. It's very familiar, right? So you have 2.5 years visa, family visas. It says no recourse to public funds. Now there's a court case that the judge has decided that part of the Home Office immigration policy on no recourse to public funds, you know, meaning you can't claim benefits, is unlawful. So, you know, we have two cases already, which is, you know, this is good news this is really good, not really good news, but good news, some good news for migrants. So it's saying that partly, you know, I'm not going to go through because, you know, when you read the case law, it's really like, oh, mind blowing. So basically it's saying that part of their policy is unlawful, and the Home Office, I don't know whether they're going to change. I don't know whether they're going to change it. But if you have a no recourse to public funds, but you find yourself destitute, okay, meaning, you know, you be homeless, or you don't have any money, or then you can ask for the Home Office to, you know, to lift it and maybe challenge it, because I think At present, when you find yourself destitute, you go to your council, or let's say you find yourself homeless, you go to your council, and the council will say, well, no, oh, I'm sorry, but your visa says no recourse to public funds. In fact, I had one client who was she was really destitute. She was she was a victim of domestic violence, and she couldn't apply for indefinite leave to remain because she was an overstayer, but she had children from a European citizen. And she was put into this one room, I haven't seen it, but she described it as a one-room hotel, but she had 3 kids, 3 small children, like one 10-year-old, one, I think 3 years old at that time. And imagine yourself on your own with 3 children. And she was staying there for, I think, 2 months. And then she asked the council if she could be moved to, a better accommodation. And the council was looking at it and, well, it's no recourse to public funds. I actually don't know what happened to it, because she had somebody helping her. Luckily, she had somebody helping her. But the council was not helpful when they looked at her visa and it says no recourse to public funds. And this is very typical of, hi, Rowena. Say hi to Miguel as well. So this is very typical situation of those parents, let's say parents who have a visa and they have British children in the UK who don't need a visa, but the parent is the one looking after the child, right? So they may find themselves in a low-paid job and unable to pay the rent. So like usually it's single moms. We have single moms who have British children and they're able to remain in the UK with a visa that says no recourse to public funds, meaning they can't claim benefits. They won't get any help from the government. So this is what the court decision is. So part of that is unlawful. And hopefully, I'm not sure what the procedure is, but hopefully you should consider if you find yourself in that situation where you can't afford, where you're finding yourself, especially during these days, with the coronavirus, people are losing jobs. People are, you probably feel would be difficult to find work at the moment. We don't know what's going to happen the next few months or next year. But there'll be some economic, effect of this lockdown. And if you find yourself homeless because you can't afford to pay rent, and you don't have work, and you find that, I have no recourse to public funds visa, don't lose hope, because hopefully this part of this decision, court case will help you, getting help from the government. Okay, so I think that is all I wanted to say today. Yeah, definitely that's it. But if you have any questions, let me know. I'm sorry, people have been messaging me, and I've not been able to reply to the messages. But I think what I probably need to do is do an update. Just message me your question, and I'll answer them, so that people can also hear what the answer, so it might help them as well, instead of just one-to-one. Okay, hi darling, hi Annalisa, same name as me. Okay, all right, any questions, everyone? No question, but immigration, there'll be lots of updates on immigration, hopefully good news for migrants and hopefully good news for overstayers. We just don't know, right? So let's hope that because of this no recourse to public funds policy, and then if you remember, I said to you that if you find yourself destitute, then you may be able to, well, the court said something about the no fee waiver policy is also unlawful, if you remember. And then, but the Home Office has a right to appeal. Actually, I read the case law, and it says at the end that the judge has given the Home Office permission to appeal. So they will appeal against that decision. So we're just going to be, fingers crossed. It will the higher court will agree with the decision of the judge, and tell them off, tell the Home Office off. Okay. Yes, Anna. Yes, I was actually, when I read that case today, I was thinking about you. So yes, possible to apply for fiancé visa. I would, yes. Is it, hi, Rona, is it in the UK? Are you thinking about applying in the UK, inside the UK? So if you are actually, I would do that. Yes, if you are if the fiancé is in the UK and they want to live together, you can apply, but it really depends on the circumstances. I can't, say, but it's possible, definitely possible to apply, because then they would have to go back to their own country, and then it just, we don't know when it's going to be normal, isn't it? So we just don't know. Sharon, yes, I think so. Definitely, I think so. But I don't know what the situation in Egypt is. If in Egypt, they're opening up commercial institutions are able to open and have normal opening times, then I think so. They should be. I think at the moment nothing is happening, no international travel, because the visa centers all over the world are closed. But I don't think they will be closed forever. I think they should open up. But also the UK at present, the UK is I don't know, it's proposing. I haven't really followed it, but they're saying that international travelers will have to quarantine themselves 14 days, isn't it, when they arrived in the UK? So, but the airport should be opening soon. But yes, you can apply. In fact, we made an application. You can submit your application, but it's just that you can't book an appointment for your biometrics. So once the biometrics, once you made your biometrics appointment, then that is when they process your application. You're going through the processing. So at present, it's not really unless you're thinking about the documents that you're supplying, and you want to make sure that at the date of application you have all the documents, you comply with all the requirements, then yes, I would submit that application. But otherwise, if you can wait, then you can also wait until the visa centers are open. But you can submit the application, but it's just that you can't go to the visa center for your biometrics. So it doesn't complete the application without the biometrics appointment. Okay. Hi, Anna. Yeah, I don't know which one is to appeal. Not sure. Hi, Anna. I'm not sure what you meant by how to appeal. Yes. Appeal against restrictions. At the moment, there's no issue. There's because the case law is very it's new, so the Home Office has not really implemented any changes, if they're going to implement any changes on their policy. Okay, so if the thing is with the Home Office, if you just accept, if they come up with a decision and if they say no, and if you just accept it, of course, you just, nothing happens. But if you challenge it, then something happens. And it may be that you will get what you want from challenging it, especially if they say, no, you can't have, you can't have you can't claim benefits. Okay, so the two things with the benefits though, and I was about to mention it and I forgot to mention, when you do claim for fee waiver, okay, they will ask you to supply the 12 months bank statement. So they will ask you to prove that you can't afford to pay the fees, that you're destitute, that your income is really low and it's just barely, barely meeting the, daily needs or monthly needs or essential living. But if you have money going in, they don't really care where it comes from. They don't really care what it's for. They will only see the figures coming into your account, meaning they will consider it as your income. So if you have allowed people to use your bank statement, bank account, it's going to affect your application. You're not going to get the fee waiver. Okay, so child benefit. The child benefit is actually for the child, so the child is entitled to it. So it's debatable whether or not it should be under the, no recourse to public funds. But no recourse to public funds, I think generally, in my interpretation, there is an interpretation on that. I will look that up and let you know, Anna, because there is a definition of what it means by recourse to public funds. Okay, I will publish it in the group, not on my personal profile, but on the Pinoy UK group, I will publish that, and you'll see what it means by which benefits you can claim and which ones are considered as under no recourse to public funds. Okay, so I think that's it. Yeah, okay, so very quick update on immigration. So if you have any questions, just message me, but then I will save your questions. Don't expect me to reply to it straight away. I will save it and then I will answer it in one of the immigration updates. Okay, have a lovely evening, everyone. Stay safe. Bye.